How is gene editing technology going to impact our lives over the next decade?
And finding a better way to treat HIV patients through biotechnology. That's the goal of a group of scientists from the Philippine Program for Diagnostics, Biomarkers, Disease Modeling, and Nutraceutical Product Development, or PhilDiamond.
With technologies like DNA sequencing, biological engineering, and fermentation, researchers at Archaea are safely growing beauty ingredients in a lab instead of sourcing them from the environment.
Over the years, biotechnology has become a household name, taking part in developing new drugs and therapies, producing more nutritious food, practicing environmental conservation, and many more. Biotechnology is not a new advancement. It has been around since the dawn of civilization. Ancient Egyptians used yeast to bake leavened bread. The Chinese developed fermentation technique for brewing and cheese making. And the Aztec used spirulina algae to make cakes. Similarly, traditional biotechnology have also been used by Ethiopian communities to manufacture alcohol and foods such as arake, borde, injera, katikala, qorafe, qocho, snafich, tej, tella, and many more.
Biotech is not new for Ethiopia because Ethiopia is a center of origin for many crops. So, the ancient Ethiopian farmers have been domesticating. They have domesticated different crops varieties. For instance, insect was domesticated in Ethiopia, and also the whole food processing in insect, like how they make the qocho and the bulla. That is part of the traditional biotech, and also teff was domesticated by Ethiopians several years ago. So even the processing also, how to make injera, the fermentation process is a traditional biotech. So, and also finger millet is also another crop domesticated in Ethiopia. Nug, another oil crop, domesticated and cultivated in Ethiopia. So all those crops and the root crops like the anchote and the oromodinich and other tuber and root crops are also cultivated and domesticated by Ethiopian farmers. So the crop has a crop domesticated by Ethiopian farmers, which is partly considered as biotech, because farmers, they use their own traditional knowledge to select a particular crops and the species to domesticate and cultivate in their farm backyard. So that is what we defined as a traditional biotech. Apart from that, so they have used different mechanisms to process the grains to make different foods and beverages, like the traditional tella, which is a local beer, and traditional arake, the distillation process, which is which is equivalent to tequila, the one the Mexican call it tequila. So that is a local arake, which is produced by local fermentation process. It's also biotechnology. Borde is a traditional biotech. So it has been embedded in the culture and tradition of the Ethiopian community since time immemorial.
As any part of the world, our parents, grandparents always used biological resources, biological process for production of different traditional foods. Like you said, for example, injera. It is fermentation of process, where yeast cells, what you call Saccharomyces cerevisiae nowadays, are playing a role in fermenting and fermentation of the dough. There are so many fermented foods, beverages which are practiced throughout the country in different ethnic and nationalities and societies. So we can mention tej is one of the most important fermented beverage, and also tella, borde, qocho. There are so many. So as any nation in the world, this traditional biotechnology is practiced throughout the world. Throughout Ethiopia, in different societies, part of the. If you go somewhere in Ethiopia, there are such traditional fermented foods. So I think it is the same as what we have seen in different parts of the world.
In its modern sense, biotechnology refers to the use of living organisms to create or develop different products for human consumption.
Biotechnology is the application and practice of technology from different disciplines and using biological resources to produce certain products that can be used for humankind and also for the sustainability of the environment.
In the health sector, biotechnology has played a role in the fight against COVID-19, providing genetic testing, personalized medicine, and many more.
Healthcare or health biotechnology, one area of biotechnology where the biggest area of biotechnology application in terms of, for example, production of drugs. So many drugs are produced through from biological resources like microorganisms, plants, or animals, using also different biotechnology techniques. So production of drugs, vaccines, hormones, and so on products are really one of the most multi-billion companies. There are so many multi-billion companies worldwide which are related to health biotech. We can mention, for example, the recent phenomena, COVID-19. The detection, the diagnosis, the sequencing, all these are applied by the application of biotechnology.
Agricultural biotechnology is thought to be our ticket to food security, as it makes it possible the manipulation of crops to enhance resistance to disease, pests, and environmental stress. This manipulation will increase quality and yield, guaranteeing sufficient food supply for the increasing world population.
The world population is growing by fast, which is very difficult to cope up, to feed all these mouths created every year. More than 90 million of people new mouths are generated every year. It is very difficult to feed all these people using the conventional methods of, for example, increasing intensification of agriculture, like using inputs, chemical fertilizers, and so on and so on. Therefore, unless we use biotechnological tools to modify and enhance crop yield, drought tolerance, herbicide tolerance, it is very difficult. So, therefore, agriculture biotechnology is one of the most important, the second biggest, we can say, customer of biotechnology, which produces, which is used for production of very high productive crops, drought tolerant crops, and also production of some biological fertilizers.
Environmental biotechnology uses microorganisms in their products to prevent environmental pollution. This is done through biotreatment of solid, liquid, and gaseous wastes, bioremediation of polluted environments, and biomonitoring of the environment and treatment processes.
As you know, nowadays there are so many industries, even in Ethiopia. These industries release a huge amount of industrial waste and also domestic wastes. These domestic wastes harm the environment unless we use biological, cost-effective, environmental sustainable biological systems to treat these wastes. That is very difficult. So that there are so many applications that we use for treating waste treatment, both domestic and industrial wastes, using biological techniques or the techniques or tools of biotechnology.
Ethiopia has made progress in biotechnology with ongoing projects in areas such as agriculture, industry, health, and environmental biotechnology.
I can say we started biotechnology from roadmap preparation. So we have already a very clean roadmap on national biotechnology, the direction, where to start and where to go. In terms of industrial biotechnology, in terms of agriculture, health biotechnology, we have that one. Beyond that, also roadmap is a general concept, so we need to also extract research programs from the roadmaps. We have extracted research programs from the roadmaps. From the roadmaps, we can also develop projects in line with the national development agendas. So that is one of the most important things. The other one is human resource development. Before the establishment of the Ethiopian Biotechnology, then before the Biotechnology Institute, the human resource that we have in this country was very limited. But now we have, I think, it's not enough, but we have the human resource that can run some experiments in our countries that can really address some of the major challenges in terms of agriculture, in terms of health, and also in terms of industrial biotechnology. That is the second one. And the other one is facilities. Without facilities, you can't conduct any research Although we have several limitations on procurements, we have also done most important aspects of facility development in terms of laboratory facilities, in terms of also chemicals and reagents. But we have a challenge on this aspect also. Also we have several challenges. We have addressed also the procurement aspects to develop the biotechnology laboratories.
The country has several institutions engaged in biotechnology research and development with focus on tissue culture, biofertilizers, molecular markers, immunology, vaccine, and diagnostic kits.
The modern biotech in terms of research and education started back in the mid 1980s through a collaborative project with Swedish SIDA. So that was a project between Swedish University and Addis Ababa University. So that was a time where a few Ethiopian researchers were trained at Swedish University. So that project basically helped to lay basic foundation for biotech science in College of Natural Science at Addis Ababa University. That was followed by research initiative at Ethiopian Institute of Agricultural Research and also Haromaya Agricultural University, the Zen Agricultural University. So that was a time where we actually started to practice biotechnology research and development at different university and research institute. So since that time, tissue culture was like one of the key focus and different protocols for crops of Ethiopian origin and also introduced crops has been established and also used for to improve the productivity of our crops. So nowadays you can find banana multiplied by using a tissue culture technique. So it's a disease-free banana or a virus-free banana, and like sweet potato and pineapple, all this are currently being multiplied using a tissue culture technique. So apart from this, we have used different marker technology, including whole genome sequencing, to genotype and sequence various germplasm from Ethiopia. And very recently, we have an ongoing collaborative project with SLU, like the Addis Ababa University is collaborating with Swedish Agricultural University to gene edit Gommenzer or Brassica carinata. As you might know, Brassica carinata is one of the oil crop, but the oil quality compared to other crops, in terms of yield, in terms of seed productivity, the Brassica carinata is good, but in terms of oil quality is very, very poor. So researchers at Addis Ababa University and Swedish Agricultural University is trying to gene edit the Brassica carinata or Gommenzer and improve the quality of the oil.
Biotechnology has become a focal area for educational institutions across Ethiopia. Recognizing its immense potential, universities now strive to provide research facilities and academic programs to meet the demand for skilled professionals in the biotechnology sector. Thus, many universities and research centers are establishing laboratories and developing interdisciplinary undergraduate and graduate programs.
There's a higher learning institution that provide undergraduate and graduate programs, masters level in biotechnology. And Ethiopian Institute of Agricultural Research, Armaur Hansen Research Institute, Ethiopian Public Health Research Institute, and Polita Agricultural Research Institute. All these research institutes are undertaking biotechnological research institutes in collaboration with these higher learning institutions. So Addis Ababa University is working in close collaboration with research institutes closely, undertaking biotechnological research institutes. So their students are coming here and join in our graduate programs to train in biotechnology. And after they graduated from here, they go back to their home institutes and conduct research.
To maintain food security, Ethiopia, which has diverse agroecology and an increasing population, urgently needs to enhance its agricultural output. One of the main staple crops in the nation, wheat, plays a vital role in reaching its objective. Although wheat production has increased, there is still a big difference between the potential yield and the amount the farmers actually get. As one of the primary programs, Ethiopia's Bio and Emerging Technology Institution is working on a project led by Yemisrash Melki on using biotechnology to increase wheat production and reduce yield gap through improved crop type and insect resistance.
Our projects are really aiming to develop molecular markers to facilitate the breeding program, especially in Ethiopia. Actually, wheat breeding program is very organized in our country. So, Ethiopian Agriculture Research Institute working on that program. But as I said, that they are using the conventional method, and also they are using a material from CIMIT, which is the international organization. Always they are importing the initial materials. On the other side, Ethiopia has a diverse genetic resource. In GenBank, we have almost 10,000 accession. So we are aiming to investigate our accession to make a parent for breeders. So in general, we are working a pre-breeding screening. Then we are targeting different traits, especially disease, stem rust, which is a very serious disease. As you know, irrigation wheat is now really booming in Ethiopia, but we are afraid because of the disease. Stem rust is very serious disease. So we are working to develop a marker which can lead or support breeders in order to develop a sustainable drum wheat or bred wheat variety which can resist stem rust, which is very important and critical.
Additionally, Addis Ababa University is collaborating with Bio and Emerging Institution on a project to reduce stunting and malnutrition in Ethiopia and other parts of Africa by expanding spirulina farm. Spirulina is a one-celled form of blue-green algae that contains 65 to 71% complete protein with perfect balance of all necessary amino acids.
Project in our institute, it's a collaborative project with Addis Ababa University. So the professor from Addis Ababa University is now based at Bio and Emerging Technology Institute to do the microalgae activity. So through that project, we managed to establish microalgae or spirulina lab so that we can produce a pure seed of spirulina at our institute. So this is, as far as my knowledge is concerned, this is the first automated or semi-automated lab that exists in Ethiopia. So we can produce a pure seed of microalgae, so that seed can be multiplied by a company or other entity. So as part of this project, we are trying to scale up this project to a pilot level at Rift Valley condition. So we are almost done with the infrastructure activity. Once we finish that, and then we'll test it or we'll try to multiply the microalgae, which is considered as super food, especially for mothers and kids, because it has a lot of minerals, vitamins, and also proteins. So that would help to minimize the stunting that we have in our children in Ethiopia.
Furthermore, the institution is harnessing the power of biotechnology to enhance the traits of Borana cattle, ensuring their survival and productivity under shifting environmental conditions. Borana is a breed that have been valued for its resilience and adaptability to harsh environments. Dr. Yeshimevich Chanyalo, Directorate of Animal Biotechnology, is leading the project.
Doing research on Borana cattle, genetically to improve genetically Borana cattle and conserve the indigenous breeds of Borna cattle. So we are focused especially on Borna cattle because, as you know, in the Borna cattle, around more than 2.5 million animals died due to the drought in the last 2 years. So it's necessary to do work to compensate that crisis. In the way to improve the Borna cattle breed genetics improvement, we are planned to import improved semen of Borna cattle from Kenya or any other country, because Kenya have the same breed with Ethiopia Borna cattle, but they already have worked they already improved genetically those indigenous breeds.
Although biotechnology has become a household name in different parts of the world, the status of modern biotechnology in Ethiopia is at an early stage. This is due to the fact that there have only been a few achievements to date. Ethiopia is impacted by various challenges in the field of biotechnology. Limited infrastructure, skilled labor, and resources have hindered the country's ability to fully harness the benefits of biotechnological advancements.
In our case, I mean, we have a modest infrastructure, but still we need, the field is really evolving. So new techniques and new approaches are being like a trend in science, in biotechnology. So we need to have a core laboratory at national level, because we don't really afford to have lab here and there. So we need to have like a core laboratory, national core laboratory, where it is really open for any public and private institutions. And so with that, at institution level, like we have a lab, but we need like a national core lab so that everybody can make use of it. And of course, in terms of regulatory, we are still in a better position, but still there are some directives, regulatory scheme is really required to fill the gap, because as I've already mentioned, gene editing is now is exercised at different level. So the current directives are not really full-fledged to capture gene editing R&Ds. So we need a directive or a guideline to fill this gap. And of course, manpower, in terms of number, we have a good amount of graduates from various institutions and universities, but the quality of those graduates is really in question. So we need more graduates with good skill in terms of hands-on skill, I mean, in terms of practical skill. So we need more graduates. And of course, those graduates are more like a general expert in the skill. So we need like specific skill in terms of sequencing, specific skill in terms of bioinformatics, specific skill in molecular breeding and stuff like that. So that specific skill is really lacking. And of course, hands-on skill is also another important thing that we should really focus. So once we fulfill those gaps, then I can say we can really have our own product in terms of biotech and gene editing and other recent technologies.
Seed procurement is very challenging for universities, for research institutes, because biotechnology research needs intensive knowledge, and also it is very expensive experiment. For this expensive experiment, we are buying chemicals and reagents. We are buying also very advanced equipment. In most cases, these equipment and reagents are not available in our countries. So even our suppliers, they don't know their name. So that is one of the challenges that we have.
Biotechnology, materials that we use in the labs are very expensive, and most of them are not even found on the market. That also affects our research studies, by the way. Some of the materials will not be found in the quality that you want, because most of the time importers also tend to import cheaper products, and that will also affect the quality of the research. So one of the biggest problems that we're facing actually are purchases. Material that you purchase are either not found on the market, or they are very expensive, or they are of low quality. In all cases, those things affect the duration of your study and also the quality of your research.
Despite its rich biodiversity and agricultural potential, Ethiopia's progress towards embracing biotechnology as a means to support sustainable development remains slow. These factors have led to considerable limitations in the nation's capacity to leverage and integrate biotechnology into various sectors such as agriculture, health, and environmental management.
In industry, there are several products out there in the shelf. That product should be really adopted by the industry. So once those adopted, then we can see their impact in the industry sector as well.
Ethiopia's biotechnology policies and strategies are relatively limited compared to those of other nations. Many countries, including Brazil, India, and China, have adopted comprehensive national biotechnology policies and strategies. These countries have invested heavily in biotechnology and have established research centers, funding opportunities, and regulatory framework to support the industry's growth.
There is a lot to learn from Brazil, China, and India, because they have used biotechnology to address most of their challenges, be it in health sector and or other food crop sector or other in industry sector. So there is a lot, and when this particular institute, the Bioemerging Technology Institute, established, the team or the technical team or the task force for biotech actually visited those countries to benchmark their institutions. So they have, if you consider those countries, they produce a lot of medicines and also vaccines using biotech approach. And also in terms of increasing their productivity, they have used biotechnology to increase their productivity, including the recent gene editing. Like Argentinians, they are using gene editing to have a product in soybean. And the same is true for Brazil and China as well. So they are making a lot of progress in different sector, in different economic sector, and that is mainly because of the application of biotechnology. So they have invested on biotech, and now they are harvesting the grains of that investment.
Overall, many countries have established comprehensive biotechnology policies and strategies to support the growth of the industry, which Ethiopia can learn from and potentially adopt to support its own biotechnology development. Ethiopia's immense genetic biodiversity provides potential for the use of modern biotechnological tools to supplement conventional approaches in research and development. As a biodiversity hotspot with diverse ecosystem and huge stores of agricultural genetic variety, the country has 11 farmed crops, including a diversity center. The country's flora is rich, with an estimated 6,500 to 7,000 plant species, 15% of which are unique. Ethiopia is home to 31 unique animal species. Moreover, the nation is home to 861 indigenous avifauna species.
Ethiopia has huge biodiversity. I mean, different agroecological zones, which endowed with different fauna, flora, and microbes. Therefore, we have untapped resources that can be used as raw material for application of utilization for biotechnical tools. Therefore, we have a comparative advantage in terms of biodiversity, having huge, diverse biodiversity from the lowest lowland, the lowest Darur, which is, I think, 120 meters below sea level, to the highest mountains in Russia. Therefore, from the lowest, we have different types of animals, plants, microbes, which are already unexplored for agricultural application, healthcare, environment, all our industry. Therefore, this is really one of the most important area that we should use for application of biotechnology for Ethiopia.
Many essential concerns must be addressed in order to further boost the biotechnology industry in Ethiopia, starting with investing in research and development, which is critical for fostering novel ideas and bringing cutting-edge products and services to market.
We need to put some capital on this technology. So it's a future technology, and without investment, we can't expect the yield that required by the industry in our country. So we are forced to import cotton from neighboring country, where the neighboring country use the technology to produce and increase the productivity of cotton. So in that case, we need to really focus and invest, put some capital, and do a research in the sector and improve the productivity of raw material, so that those raw material would help our agro-industry sector to boom. So through that agro-industry sector booming, then the country can maximize the benefit. Because our comparative advantage is somewhere around the agro industry areas. So we have ample land, and we have good agroecology to produce agricultural products. So if we invest on R&D on agriculture, then the productivity could enhance, and those productivity could be like a raw material for our industry sector, and the industry sector can use those products and also value add on those products for export or for local use. So that way we can somehow address.
Furthermore, building strong connections between universities, research institutes, and private sectors can promote interdisciplinary information exchange, resulting in new perspective and breakthroughs in the discipline.
Resource synergy, I mean networking. This is a very poor country, I can say. So for a country like Ethiopia, you need to synergize as much as possible in terms of you have to pull best scientists, you have to bring the best scientists together. You have to bring best practices together. You have to share the resources so that you can deliver impact on the area of you are doing. So in our country we have also a limitation on the resource synergy. We need to bring best practices, we need to bring best scientists, we need to bring best laboratories together so that we can bring high impact. So that is another challenge that we have.
Moreover, by investing in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, also known as STEM fields, and specific biotechnology programs, a talented and competent workforce may be developed to fuel innovation and entrepreneurship in this promising sector.
In the regulatory, we need to move along with the technology. So the technology is really changing. So our regulatory system or regulatory framework should also be modified according to the new technology. As I've already mentioned, gene editing is out there. So the regulatory system should be updated as per the technology move. So that way we can at least make use of the upcoming new technology to address some of the challenge we have.
Additionally, the government must establish policies and guidelines that encourage entrepreneurs and investors to design a course towards a prosperous biotechnology industry.
Startup or incubation centers. Incubation centers are critically important to go for commercialization. You have to develop your prototype, and you have to evaluate further in terms of the need of customers. So incubation centers must be developed just similar to the other nations. If you go to Germany, they have several incubation centers. If you go to Japan or South Korea, they have several incubation centers where you test your products. And not only that one, they need support from the government. You have to guide them also, support management, how to manage the product. You have to make them competent, because now today's market is even in the locally, you have to be competent to sell your product. So there must be a support in terms of finance, in terms of management in incubation centers. So this is, and also we need to also have a national research foundation. Our neighbor country, Kenya, they have national research foundation, which supports commercialization, which supports incubation centers, which supports researchers. So they prioritize the national agendas, so they support those important projects. But now what we are doing in these countries, it's a sort of fragmented approach. You provide fund for Ministry of Agriculture. Ministry of Agriculture is separately running experiments. You provide some fund to health, to innovation, so they are running separately experiments. To my understanding, we need to have our own national research foundation, which directs also the research agenda to the national priority and the national challenges. And also that will also help us to use our resources very efficiently.
The Bio and Emerging Technology Institute in Ethiopia is making strides towards becoming a knowledge hub and a prominent research center by 2030. With its ambitious agenda, the institution aims to promote innovation and contribute to the country's economic growth through cutting-edge research.
Within the coming 10 years, we wanted to be like a hub, a knowledge hub at the continent level. The reason why I'm saying this is like now we have CDC here, African CDC here, and we have also the international centers like the early campuses here. We have also invested a lot as a country on science, technology, education, and we are good in terms of university expansion. So all this is like a good foundation to use STI to promote economy in various sectors. So what I'm really visualizing after like 10 years is by then we'll have a very strong national research system with very good fund from the government side, and by 2030 we'll have also a national core lab which is open for all R&D sectors in Ethiopia. So with this we can have a lot of biotechnology products to replace import and also to export to other nations. So with this, within 10 years, as a nation, we'll have a very strong foundation of biotechnology that can support the agriculture sector, industry sector, environment sector, and also health sector.
Collaborating with local and international partners, the institution will work on developing solutions to address pressing issues in fields such as agriculture, healthcare, and environmental sustainability. By fostering a culture of excellence and nurturing young talent, the institution is poised to have a significant impact on Ethiopia's scientific landscape and its socio-economic